Welcome one and all to V8's Online's live broadcast of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship. We're here at Oran Park and we're getting ready for an interesting two-race event tonight at one of Australia's lost classic circuits. My name is Reese Gardner and joining me in the commentary box is Jay Kennedy. Jay, it's time to go Porsche racing once again. Yeah, I think you'd be right on that. It's definitely an interesting format, and of course we can't forget that this round sort of carries over somewhat from the last round at Barber Motorsports Park. The finishing order of that race was very important for setting the grid for this round. So who knows? We might see some new names up in the top split. See some known names relegated to second split for this event. Either way, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, certainly. Oran Park, obviously, there's an awful lot of houses and suburbia there now, but, this is the track as it was in, I believe, 2009 or 2010, before the demolition machines moved in. And, you know, it's super bumpy, it's super tight and twisty, it's got that figure of 8 crossover, the bridge in the middle of the lap, and a super flowing last sector. And, of course, you got the dog leg over the top of the hill, which in these Porsches, with the engine at the back, all of that weight over the rear tyres, you need to keep as much weight on the front as possible. And over that hill crest, we might see some interesting incidents as the drivers struggle to keep the front ends of their cars glued to the road. Yeah, we certainly shall. Muggleton has basically dominated this series throughout the season so far. So yeah, if someone can get up there and possibly have a shot at beating him with this shootout qualifying, now is the opportunity that they have. Yes, indeed, and it's an actual proper shootout qualifying session. So it's not a case of regular iRacing 1 or 2 lap qualifying where everyone just goes at the same time and everyone else is invisible on track to you. This is an actual 40-minute shootout qualifying session that drivers are directed out on track one at a time, and they each have one shot only to set their time for this upcoming 15-minute race. Like a 15-minute race, I don't think I've commentated on a race that short ever. Indeed, and I'm taking a look at the broadcast chat, and I think you might be muted, Jay.
There we go. That's better.
All right. Well,
try again.
Okay.
Here, I'm having a great conversation with you, Reese, that no one can hear. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so to all of the broadcast viewers, apologies for it seeming like I was a madman talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. Yeah, let's just move on.
Let's move on. Steve Hoppett out on the track. He's the first driver who will put in a lap here. Driving the number 81. So we'll see how he goes.
Hoppett.
No pressure starting as the last car in qualifying. You just want to make sure you get a time that counts. And the worst you can do is start from where you were. So we'll see where this puts him. As he starts his flying lap now.
Yes, we shall. Steve Hoppett as he goes into turn 1 now. A guy that I've known for quite some time. Oh no, he's run wide at the exit of turn 1. So unfortunately, that's probably going to be put paid to where as much as a competitive time. But Steve Hoppett will be familiar to some members of this community as Mad Dog, back on the old Online Racing Australia and X Factor racing communities back in the R Factor days, and come onto iRacing and is currently finding his feet. Comes through the middle section of the track now, just not using the curbs too much. This is just a safe sort of banker qualifying lap. Comes up over the dogleg, a very narrow entry it seems, but there he uses all of that curbing left-hander. Here he goes, out of the final turn. Super short track this, Oran Park, despite the number of turns it has. Steve Hoppett is going to cross the line, and it's going to be a 1:08.312. Steve Hoppett.
Obviously that's first position for him, so straight to the top of the times. And as I was saying, the worst he can go is last, where he would have been anyway. So Nothing to lose in this shootout format for him. It's probably the best position to start, I think, because you've got absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah, for certain. Well, either way, that's Steve Hoppett done and dusted, and it looks like the next person out on track is going to be Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, Daniel Stevens on track, and Ben Piscadroni as well. I've got that wrong, no doubt.
Piscaneri, I believe.
Ben. Ben will do.
Benny boy.
We all know I'm hopeless with names, so anyway.
Alright, well, Daniel Stevens just gearing up over the dogleg now to start his qualifying time through this uphill final turn at Oran Park and out onto the start-finish straight. Danny goes...
Sorry, I was just going to say once Daniel finishes his lap, we'll go to Ben, but yeah, down hard under brakes
Daniel.
with... that's lap done.
Yep, lap done. No time to be set for Daniel Stevens, and that is a real shame because, you know, this Porsche, it's difficult under brakes.
It is for sure. Oh, Ben's big lock-up coming into turn 1, and he's done as well.
Oh no,
so
that's two drivers in a row.
Wow. 1 and 2. They are very, very tough corners. You need to make sure you've got the car weighted correctly under brakes because you've got the turn in the middle of your braking zone. You're seeing some big heavy cars like the V8 Supercar. Some drivers will actually take 2 grabs at that, brake before the kink, and then brake again. Other drivers will try and brake through the middle of the corner. But yeah, that's unfortunate for both of these guys, but that's a big plus for Steve Hoppett. He's guaranteed himself 2 spots.
Yeah, certainly not going to be starting dead last, if at all, for Steve Hoppett. So, yeah, he'll be absolutely cheering seeing that happen.
Stevens had done a 107.9, which obviously won't count. And Ben coming through the final corner. It would have been an 8.3, so it would have been behind Hoppett anyway for Ben, but a good start for Steve Hoppett with 2 positions already gained. So these guys are still continuing on, so not sure if they realise that they're supposed to have pulled off already.
Yeah, should probably look at pulling into the pits there, guys, so we can continue on with this.
I wonder if there's been an issue and they've been granted another lap. No, they're slowing down now, so that's good.
So it looks like we've got a car pulling out of the pits now, Mark McDonald.
Yep, Mark McDonald and Jason Hyde as well. So they're our 2 next cars out. So keep an eye on both of these guys.
Mark McDonald sitting at the exit of the pits, ready to get going.
It's a really different format. A lot of these guys are really going to have to work with the admins, make sure they're paying attention to what's going on, because we've seen in other events where we do a little bit different from the norm. Some people really struggle with that. Looks like Connor McCluskey Young is also moving up to potentially do the next lap, but Mark McDonald will be the first driver in these in this group of 2.
Mark McDonald now through the last section of the lap. McDonald was 13th in practice, 105.107 his time. See if he can go any faster this time around. He hooks up that late apex out of the final turn. Away he goes.
He got some good drive out of the exit there, so that will definitely help his boost into turn 1. Can't be too late on the brakes here. Seeing guys already having trouble. Great control through the middle of turn 1.
Yeah, very nice. Hooks up the curb nicely on exit as well, so all good through the first part of the lap. It's always so stressful watching drivers go through through turn 1. You don't really know if they're going to mess up in that second phase of the braking zone and just completely destroy their lap right at the start, but Mark McDonald is doing very well at the moment to keep it on the black stuff, and he's hooking up that curb very nicely. Maximum attack through the middle sector of the circuit, even locking the brakes a little bit.
This lap's look pretty solid. May not be the ultra quick lap we'll be seeing later on, or one little mistake there, brake lock up the front left.
Managed to keep it hooked up though, and he's out on the start-finish straight. It's going to be a 104.8.
104.8, great lap.
Lovely stuff there from Mark McDonald.
Another 104.8 here for Jason Hyde, I'm pretty sure. 104.84 goes to P1.
Lovely stuff there, Jason Hyde.
Connor McCluskey-Young, the next driver on flying lap now. And Colin Bruns will be next.
Yeah, and Connor just absolutely monstered that curb, and that one as well over the dog leg. Firing it straight for the inside, or running a bit wide. Yep, that's going to hurt him a little, but all the same, he's managed to complete the lap. Going to be a 105.4.
Yeah, good lap. Slots into third. Colin Bruns, the next driver. He's just come around turn 2.
Yep. Oh, wondering if that was an off-track. It wouldn't have been, I suppose.
I hope not. He did flick up a bit of dirt, but I don't think he was overly wide.
Hopefully that manages to register as a time.
One of my favourite corners on this track. You come,
you
come through the bridge, and you've got a blind corner. You have to trust your instincts on where that apex is.
Yeah, and now his flow is completely off as a result of that slide. Now it's just a case of getting to the end. That's the thing about Oran Park. It relies so much on rhythm. You have to build up a rhythm laps in advance, essentially. And if you make one mistake throughout the course of the lap, then, yeah, it's you have to work really hard to get it done, as Colin Bruns crosses the line and gets no time. So that wasn't off track indeed.
Mark Dean, the next driver, out on the circuit to do a lap.
Yep, he is coming through the first sector. Up over those bumps. Section of the circuit. Quite wide, but lots of dips and rises that can unsettle the car. He's hooked that up nicely. And all of the curb, even a little bit of the concrete apron. This is looking like a good lap.
Yeah, very big commitment from him. So we'll see how he goes now through this ultra fast and committed section of the track. And again, front left lock up, but I don't think that's hurt him as much as we've seen other drivers.
Yep.
Great exit. This could be into the 4s. No, 5-1.
5-2 actually,
5-2,
as we see on the timesheets. So Mark Dean officially done.
Jay Boving, I think, is next, or possibly Alex Greenwood.
Alex Greenwood.
No, Jay Boving's next driver actually on a lap, though.
Alright, well, Alex Greenwood has just crossed the line to start his, so we've got 2 drivers on a lap at the moment, but we'll focus on Boving for now. Doing alright so far.
This here is, as I was saying, favourite part of the track. You've got that commitment plus corner because of the wall for the bridge. You can't see the apex until the last second, so you really have to trust your instinct, turn it in, and if it hurts you, if you mess it up there, it really does hurt the rest of the lap. Get it right, and your flow is set for this fun part right here. Up and over, up on 2 wheels by the sounds of it there on board.
Yep. A little bit of squirming in the mid-corner, but Boving keeps it nice and tight, uses all the road on the exit.
4.6, 4.7?
Yep, 4.668.
Yep.
Awesome stuff from Jay Boving.
Greenwood now coming across the line to complete his lap. A little bit
105.7.
Yep, so slots into P number 6. Wayne Pengelly, the next driver out.
Yep, and he is just coming through the final turn right now. I believe this is the start of a hot lap.
Yep, just starting a lap then.
A driver coming out of the pits in front of him, that's Griffin Gardner. So Wayne looking very stable through 1 and 2. Thing with this Porsche, you need to brake super early. A lot earlier than you think you do, because the car is so sensitive to locking up, and I think that's a reason that we're seeing so many drivers going wide at the final turn. Obviously, going through the dip and up the elevation change will put more grip into the tyres due to weight transfer and give you a bit of extra braking power, but in this Porsche you are playing with fire a little bit there, because one little lock-up can send you a couple of car lengths wide, and a couple of drivers have fallen foul of that. But so far, this is looking like a pretty clean lap from Wayne Pengelly.
Yeah, it's looked nice and smooth. I think the big thing when you've got this 1 lap qualifying as well, you want to brake as late as you can because you've only got 1 shot at it. But a nice exit out of the final corner. It'll be mid-6, I think, by the looks.
Yep. The 106.4 from Wayne.
That's just pretty close to a mid, I guess. Can't get much more mid than a 6. So go to Griffin Gardner now. Next driver on a flying lap.
Good so far. 3 corners in. Hooked up the apex nicely there. First driver I've seen actually touch the inside curb at that corner. Now up over the bridge. That blind entry. You've really got to trust in your car through this section of the course. Suppose this Carrera Cup car is, it doesn't have many settings you can adjust, but in many other cars, Oran Park is possibly one of the most setup-dependent tracks on iRacing. As Griffin Gardner, beautiful line through the last turn. Away he goes to cross the line. What's it going to be? 105.2.
Yeah, so
that puts him 5th.
Yep, 5th position. Both trying to say the same thing, Reese. It's always funny.
Yep, always.
David Coleman, it looks like, is the next driver out. So,
yep, just waiting for the all clear.
Just received a message from the admin saying there's a few guys that didn't actually read what was supposed to happen tonight, so they're all mixed up a little bit, but I think they're going okay. Not doing too bad. We're getting through them, which is good.
Yeah, this format requires quite a lot of coordination between the drivers and race control, so it is important that you do your homework before entering a session like this. Fortunately, it seems most of the drivers do have an understanding of what's happening. It looks like Jonathan Turner has been told to start from the back because he missed his cue. So David Coleman now gearing up for a lap.
Yeah, just about to start his lap.
Quite a striking looking skin as well, I have to say. That bright teal colour on his car. Looks very nice in the afternoon sun.
I think any livery looks nice at Oran Park in the afternoon sun. Wish we could see him for real again, but sigh.
Wipes away solitary tear. David Coleman looking lovely and stable through turn 1, but not through turn 2. Run very wide there.
Ultra
So
deep.
unfortunately, yeah, that's cost him.
Just need to make sure that you keep committed to the rest of the lap. Still positions to gain by making sure you finish this lap, keeping it on the track. Pretty much do a lap and you gain 2 spots over not getting a lap in. So making sure you actually put in a lap time is ultra important.
Ooh.
I thought he was going to drift off the track then, and it's messed up his flow again. So that little lock up through turn 2 has messed up the flow of the rest of the lap completely. It is such a flowing track, you really need to make sure that you get every corner right to ensure your full lap is put together. Actually ended up with not too bad a time.
1057.
5.7, so jumps just ahead of Alex Greenwood. Got Corey out on track next.
Yep. Taking a very tight line through the last turn as opposed to the late apex most guys are aiming for to start their hot laps. Oran Park, you know, a challenging circuit to qualify a car around, to race around is even more difficult because you literally don't get a rest around here until the start-finish straight. It's an absolutely insane circuit. There's just so much racetrack packed into such a tight space.
It's basically a go-kart track on steroids, isn't it? With saying that they used to race go-karts here as well, so an amazing circuit, and a big cross-up for Ott as he comes up over the rise through the bridge.
Got very unsettled there, but he's hooking up that curb nicely.
Yeah, very good job there. I was just about to say, just before he nearly looped it there, that the elevation is probably the other big thing here. You don't realise how much elevation change there is in this lap. I mean, overall from one end of the track to the other, there's not a huge elevation change, but it moves and dips so much within a lap. In the sixes here for Ott, I think it's a 6.2.
Yep, 273.
So that's our first 13 who have made it out.
Indeed, so Corey Ott lines up provisional 9th so far.
So next out, I think, will be Stuart Hall. Looking at the drivers list, we're just waiting for the next driver to jump out on the track.
A little bit of a lull in the action between groups of drivers.
While we wait for that, I will try and confirm the actual race length for race 2. Nope, I can't find it. We'll work it out when we get to it. We've got 15 minutes anyway in the first one.
Yeah.
That's the most important one, because that's the one that we're actually going to feature to start with. And yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a fun race, especially being so short. Of course, the positions from race 1 carry over to race 2 as well. So never been as important a race, as important a session as this qualifying and the start of the first race.
Yeah, for sure. And this first race is non-points as well, so it's
essentially set the grid race.
Yeah, it's going to be frantic. It's basically this entire session, this shootout and this 15-minute race are basically a 55-minute long qualifying session with a few twists and turns here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been a really, really good series. Like, we've seen some good racing the whole way through. I think every race we've had some really cool battles, and some mixes in format really add something else as well. The fact that we just don't have a qualifying and then a race, every single round, I think adds something more.
Yeah, it certainly does.
We have this format again later on in the season. At the moment too, we've got just quickly looking at the championship while we're waiting for the next car to come out. Josh Muggleton out in front of this championship at the moment, 320 points. Michael Healy second on 282. Then Scott Larnack, Bo Albert, and Justin Rougier, the next 3 positions. Teams championship is Trans-Tasman Racing leading Evolution Racing Team Hornets. And in the Masters Championship, got Darren Marsh leading the way there over Tim Ballinger.
Got a car out on track now, Darren Whittington. And Jay, I have just consulted the almighty rulebook, and it looks like race 2 is going to be 30 minutes with a rolling start.
Oh, that'll be interesting, something a bit different.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get through all the drivers here, because there's not long left in this qualifying session, so hopefully all the drivers that are yet to come, get through their laps. Laps very, very well. I've just been sent a message from Justin Drugier on Facebook. This format is awesome. So that's good.
Yeah, it's always good to have these variations in format like this to keep, not just us commentators on our toes, but the drivers as well. I mean, I know having done many leagues in the past, we know that
Oof.
it's a bit of a squiggle from Whittington on the exit of the last turn, but it's easy to fall into a pattern, the same old, going through the motions sort of thing as a season wears on. But stuff like this, it keeps things interesting, it keeps you coming back. It's awesome to see. Whittington just running a little wide on the exit of 2.
Yeah, I
Doesn't seem
agree.
to have hurt him that much.
I agree with that, race. I think making sure you have something different from every other league and race series out there is something really to behold. It either makes you or breaks you in a way, though. We see this format again later on in the season. We've got Lime Rock for the first part and then Sonoma for the second part. So that should be pretty cool. But some cool tracks coming up in this schedule too. We've got Imola, VIR, Lime Rock, Sonoma and Mount Panorama to wrap it up.
Awesome schedule. Fantastic tracks all around. Whittington through the final turn now. It's looked like a very good lap from him. Just a little bit of a power slide out of the last turn, but I don't think it's hurt him that much.
5-5, I think.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. 5-5, 5-5-5. 5.
Brilliant stuff.
My prediction of a 5-5 was ultra accurate there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it could almost be a phone number from an American TV show.
Maybe. 5-5-5. So we go to Stuart Hall next driver out.
Yep.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, if you ever watch an American TV show, the phone numbers are always 555. Next time you watch an American TV show, you'll notice that now.
Yep.
Trivia with Jay and Reese here on V8 Online.
We still need to get that podcast together.
We do. Once you get some MBN, I think we're all go.
Yep, we certainly are. Well, I should be getting some fiber to the node by the end of the month.
Oh, look out.
That's when it's scheduled.
Big moment there for Stuart Hall.
Jeez.
Watch out when Reese gets some decent internet, because he will
Southpaw streamer
Southpaw streaming. And Southpaw and the Sads will have to do something. This hasn't looked as clean as we would expect from Stuart Hall. He's been fairly consistent throughout this series, but this lap's looked a little bit messy. That extra pressure of one lap qualifying can really get to you. He's going to be in the mid-5s here. I think it's a 5-3 or a 5-4? 5-3, so he goes into 6th position.
Yep, so that's about half a second slower than his best time in practice, so still some time to be gained.
Interesting thing with this, we often see in these sort of events the guys going out in order of where they would have practiced or their practice time. So we're getting a bit of a mixed field because it's actually based on the race results from the previous event. So that's why we're seeing the times not sort of linking into order, and we're seeing guys up the top that didn't necessarily go out last, and guys that are going out later slotting into the middle.
Indeed. Well, Darren Marsh currently on a hot lap.
Yeah, it's looked good too. A little bit wide there through the right-hander as he comes into flip-flop.
Oh. Yep, nice bit of front-end grip there. But he's got the front end of that car hooked up.
Oh.
Comes over the dog leg.
Looked very good there through the dog leg.
Yep, bounced off the rev limiter coming into the braking zone for the last turn. Hooks up the throttle beautifully out of the final turn, over the line.
5-3, I think. A little bit off from where I would have expected that lap to be. Slots into 7th. Luca Jackerman, the next driver out.
Indeed, for Evolution Racing Team, these guys had a practice server for themselves up before this session went up, so they're pretty committed.
Yeah, I know Bo's been ultra excited for this series. Of course, jumping in for commentary for the IMSA series. Big lock up there for Jackerman the whole way into turn 2. The left-hand side of the car was locked, and a
look out.
big lock-up once again. Front right completely locked. Can't believe he actually got it around the corner there and hit the apex and locked again.
Yeah, oh goodness me. So basically almost every corner's been wide on this lap for Luca. Took that one up nicely though.
That looked a bit better.
Yeah. The first sector, it can really make or break your lap. It's very stop-start, but it's also very dependent on flow at the same time. So you've got to get it absolutely inch perfect if you want a good time. Luca Jackaman goes through the last turn, firing it straight for the inside, keeping it nice and tight. I wonder if that first sector will have messed up his lap somewhat. So 104.392.
Goes to the top.
Yep.
So I think it hurt what he should have got for his lap time, but good enough to still get onto the top of the timesheets. Bo Albert, next driver out on track, starting his lap. He has guaranteed he will flash his headlights on the starting grid for us again tonight.
Indeed. Locking up once again.
Possibly a trait with the setup there for the big lockups.
Yeah.
As we saw with the time.
Brakes.
Yeah, as with the times though, it hasn't hurt them too much. Again, another big lockup, but still made the apex, still got through the corner okay.
They're dragging the brake locking until past the apex, even when they're on the throttle slightly. So I think they're running pretty soft fronts on those cars.
Lap time looks about the same as Jackaman's to this point here, so we'll see where he ends up. Oh, another big lockup.
Yeah, that's a corner you don't really expect to see a lockup either. Over the dogleg he goes.
See how this lap ends up.
Oh, looking up again. Still looks like a pretty quick lap from
Still
Bo
at the
Albert.
apex too. There we go, the flash of the headlights, crossed the line. I think it's a 4.9, so a little bit off the pace. Yeah, fifth position there. So Scott Larnack, the next driver out, their teammate. The third of the Evolution Racing Team cars in this race.
Yep, just a little bit of a rest, looking forwards towards turn one. Turn in when the wall ends.
And again, another little lockup, big puff of smoke.
Not as extreme as we saw from Jackaman and Albert, though. Ooh, running a little bit wide. Ooh, taking a very wide exit there. We haven't seen that very often.
No, not that wide. I've seen some wide ones, but that was a really different line there. And then Larnack, very aggressive over the curb there.
Yeah, maybe a bit too aggressive. He went a bit wide in the left-hander just after.
Another big lock-up, so coming through the dogleg into the final corner. Big lock-up again with that front left. Across the line. And it'll be in the 4s, a 4.8 as well, I'm fairly sure there.
Yep, 4th place.
Justin Ruggier, the next driver out.
Right, as he comes over the dogleg, I definitely expect a good time out of this guy. Have a look at how he's lining up the last turn. Super late apex. Smashes on that throttle, and away he goes. Alright, keeping it nice and smooth. Tiny lock up more towards the apex of the corner, but he's kept it together nicely.
It's the complete opposite in regards to where he's locked the wheel. And again, big lock up into turn 3. Missed the apex a little bit there too. It's a little bit wide.
Nice and smooth here.
Yeah, that bit looked better.
Just feathering the brakes a little bit, tiny bit of a mid-corner slide, but he's kept it together once again. Very aggressive over the entry curb. Down a gear, very aggressive over that curb, and using quite a bit of the exit curb as well. Haven't seen that very much.
Jeez, he cut that ultra aggressive there at the dog leg, and very, very good through the final corner. We'll see where
like a good lap.
This goes here. 4.3, I think it's going to be. So goes to the top by 6/100ths of a second. Great lap from Justin Ruggier.
Yeah, very good lap indeed. Fantastic stuff. And it looks like the next driver to start a lap is Ben Dowell.
Yep, driving for Team TTL.
Another tiny little lock-up, but you know, this is something that I've learnt since I got back into train simming. It's not necessarily about how hard you brake; it's about how efficiently you brake.
Oh, that was a
Oh,
big moment for Dowell there. He was all crossed up.
yeah. But yeah, being efficient on the brakes in this car, making sure that you minimize lockups, is a lot more lap time effective than just mashing the brakes and seeing how late you can do it. I think we're seeing that quite a bit with these drivers at the top of the timesheets. They are looking up a little more towards the apex, but you notice in the initial braking phase, up towards turn-in, where they're getting most of their braking done. Yep.
Oh, slots in between. In between Rougier and Jackerman.
Wow.
So you get a 4.33, a 4.37 and a 4.39 at the top of the timesheets. Rougier, Dowell and Jackerman.
Wow.
Yeah, I just got a little bit of a lull because it was supposed to be Michael Healy heading out on track now, but he is not here, so it will be Josh Muggleton. He'll have the track all to himself for the final driver, as the final driver in this session.
Yep, he certainly shall. Interesting to see how he does on this lap, because you know Muggleton's form in this championship has been absolutely head and shoulders above just about everybody else in this field. Definitely has shown that he has had the pace in qualifying sessions in the past, but with only one shot. Interesting to see how he fares.
Interesting to see how he approaches the warm-up for this lap too. A little bit different from what we would expect. He's not weaving like you would see other drivers do. Just rolling out there, making sure that there's enough heat in the tyres. He's probably got the tyre pressures up nice and high. And that wide apex, big moment, big slide for Muggleton to start this lap, and that will hurt him big time.
Oh dear, after all that preparation for that to happen, that's he's not going to like that too much, but you know, he'll be keeping his head down and focusing on just getting the rest of the lap right and seeing where it puts him. Squirming a little under brakes, Josh Muggleton, hooking up the throttle nicely on the exit though, sliding a little bit. Turn 3. How's he going to fare? Beautiful line. Got the apex perfectly. On the brakes once again. Over the bumps. Car looks beautifully settled through this section.
Yeah, it's looked nice and smooth once he's actually started this lap. It was his outlap that's caused the issues, and now he's ultra committed there. Right out to the outside curb, cuts the corner, and using all of the exit curb as well.
Through the dogleg he goes, almost dipping it into the dirt on the inside, and then nice and tight into the last turn. Hard on the throttle.
Oh, almost hits the wall.
Avoiding the wall. Let's see what time this is going to be from Josh Muggleton.
It's a 4.3 as well.
4.329.
Oh, just gets him 4 1,000ths ahead of Justin Rougier.
Wow.
Wowee.
Okay.
How close was that?
That is so cool.
Wow.
That. Everyone congratulating Muggleton on his lap in the driver chat. Oh wow. What a session that was.
Yeah, that was ultra fun. And obviously this is only part 1 of qualifying, technically, because now they go out for a 15-minute race to set the grid for the main event, the half-hour main, coming up later on tonight. That was fun.
Indeed, as I just take time to get a yawn out of the way.
Get them out now, because you won't have a chance to get a breath coming up when this race gets underway. 15 minutes is going to be action aplenty, especially back in the field.
And I'm not implying that I was bored in any way. I'm just really, really tired.
Too much sim racing on the weekend race. Actually, too much is never enough, is it?
No, never. I don't think it's so much of a problem as too much sim racing as too late bedtime.
We might run through the starting grid as it is now, final and set. Josh Muggleton will start from P1. Justin Rougier in second. Ben Dowell in third. Luca Jackerman in fourth. Jay Boving in fifth. Jason Hyde in sixth position. Then we've got Scott Larnack, Mark McDonald, Bo Albert, and Mark Dean rounding out the top 10.
Griffin Gardner is going to start in 11th place with Stuart Hall in 12th. Darren Marsh 13th. Connor McCluskey-Young in 14th. 15th, Darren Whittington. David Coleman in 16th place with Alex Greenwood 17th. 18th, Corey Ott. Wayne Pendley in 19th place. And rounding out the top 20, Steve Hoppett.
We got Ben Piscaroni. I've got that completely wrong. Sorry, Ben. Daniel Stevens. Jonathan Turner. Mitchell Campbell. Colin Bruns. George Johnson. Warren Pickering. Andrew Stokes. And Warwick Brown. Be the rest of the field when we get underway in around about a minute or so.
Yes, indeed. It's come up quite quickly. Just waiting for the qualifying session to tick over. We got about a minute and 10 seconds before the timer well and truly runs out. And now we've got drivers going out for some regular old practice laps, it seems, with Warwick Brown currently out on track.
He possibly will be doing a lap because he hadn't actually got a lap in. He may have been late to arrive, so I think giving him a lap.
Does he have time?
Still 46 seconds on the clock, so possibly. Checkered flag, I don't think has flown yet.
It is. It has flown.
Okay. So it's just out there going to have a bit of a blast, a bit of fun.
Yep.
While he
looks
waits.
like it. Well, I suppose it's one way to keep yourself warm with the weather we've been having down here in Australia.
Yep, icy cold here at the moment. I've just turned the heater on. I can't feel my toes, so I thought I'd better put the heater on.
Yep, and here in Western Australia, up at Bluff Knoll, the highest point in the state, which is to say it's a really, really big hill, we're actually getting a bit of snow, which about 10 centimetres worth of snow.
Can confirm that we had snow here the other day, although it was man-made with a guy with a pressure washer and a hose into a fan. He made some snow in his front yard and it lasted all day, so we sort of had snow here the other day. Doesn't really count, I guess, does it?
Did you make a snow wreath?
He did make a snowman out of it, so I guess that's enough. And then he got a toboggan out in the front yard, so I guess that counts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. 100%. Look, I mean, if you're in Australia, it's the best you're going to get, so
Yep.
You might as well make the most of it.
Exactly. Can confirm the guy used to work up at Thredbo, up in the mountain ranges, and he knew how to make snow, used to run the snow-making machines up there, so decided that he would have a go in his front yard when it was about -3. We're a little bit too high up in the air. Sorry, a little bit too low in altitude to get snow here, so we do get the beautiful -5 mornings. For those of you in the States, that's about 23 or 24 degrees Fahrenheit, so nice and fresh.
Yep. Probably shorts and t-shirt weather for people in Scandinavia.
Probably. I'd hate to see what they would be like when they were here with our 47-degree temperature days in the summer. So we get ready to go.
Yeah, us complaining about how cold it is, meanwhile people in Finland are looking at us going, oh, come on. Stop your complaining.
It's like us having a laugh at people in London complaining about it being 28.
Yeah, true.
Alright, we're gridding up. Let's get serious once again. Here we go. So
Cease the weather talk. We've got a race to do.
So 15-minute race. It's going to be about 14 laps in length. 14, maybe 15 laps. Probably 14 laps in length. Around this amazing Oran Park circuit. 2.6 Ks.
Jason Hyde seems to have picked up Bo Albert's habit of flashing headlights, as has Darren Whittington. But we're getting ready to go. 2 minutes now on the clock. Getting ready to go. Away we go now. For some reason I've lost Muggleton and Rougier, and I can't click on anything.
Yeah, that's all right.
What's going on?
They're all good. They've all got away very cleanly at the front. And back in the field, it's all fairly clean as well. A little bit of a brake lock up, but all through turns 1 and 2, nice and clean, which is great to see. Scott Larnack, Jay Boving, nice and side by side, coming into turn 3. And a big off. Who's that off the track? Griffin Gardner cuts across the track at turn 3, but no contact.
Really backed up Connor McCluskey-Young there. He's having a big battle, as is Griffin, with David Coleman as they come up through this section of the track. Seeing some huge incidents back in the pack. Andrew Stokes caught up in all that. We got another car off down at the back. That's George Johnson.
Yeah, George Johnson, Steve Hoppett right at the back of the field as well.
I figured out the problem, Jay. I accidentally had the camera on pit lane 2.
Yep, that'll probably be why it won't work. Or Rougier almost into the fence, and same with Ben Dow as they hunt down Muggleton to finish lap 1. It's Muggleton from Rougier, Dow, Jackerman, and Jason Hyde has made his way to 5th position.
Fantastic stuff from Jason Hyde, all the way up from 6th place. Now as they come into turn 1, this is where we're going to see some moves, and it looks like Darren Marsh having a look up the inside of Mark Dean, who runs wide, and that's going to give Marsh a little bit of a run. They're going to go side by side into turn 3. Marsh breaks a bit later than Dean, but Dean has the inside. He maintains the position.
Yeah, Marsh almost thought about trying to hold it around the outside there, but thought wisely, remembering that this is a race for the grid. So no points awarded in this race. Guys just have to try and get up as high as they can for the main event coming up straight after this one. Half-hour race.
Oh, look at Jackerman versus Ben Dowell. Dowell almost chopping the nose off Jackerman there in the middle of the circuit. Fantastic battle between these guys. Look at Jackerman. He's going to try and fire it up the inside of the last turn. No.
This front five's pulled away from the rest of the field too. There's a big gap back to the next pack with McDonald, Boving, Larnack and Albert in that pack.
Have a look at how aggressive Jackerman is being moving around in Ben Dowell's mirrors. Oh, and Jackerman ran a little wide in turn 1. Oh, so close.
Wayne Pendley off the track at the final corner. That is, he's actually gone around the finish line tower. And Corey Ott's off the track at turn 2. He's facing the wrong direction. Almost got cleaned up there by, I think, Jonathan Turner. And Jason Hyde now is right on the back of Luca Jackerman trying to get past.
Yes, have a look at this battle. It's absolutely fantastic for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Muggleton has not pulled away anywhere near as much as I think many of us were expecting him to.
Just
He's
behind,
been kept honest.
Jay Boving's just got past Mark McDonald, who ran wide. And move done. And Scott Larnack's right there now to try and get a move done.
Yeah.
Ben Dow Jackerman as well is back on again. Have a look at how close Jackerman is down the front straight.
Oh boy, this is going to get interesting. Dowell covering him well though. Oh, have a look here. Multiple lines possible here, but have a look here. Jackerman having a look up the inside. Possibly trying to pressure Dowell into a mistake.
I'm actually surprised that while this little battle's starting to happen, that Rougier and Muggleton haven't pulled away a huge gap. Pulled away a little bit, but not as fast as I'd expected. But we're almost a quarter of the way through this race.
Yeah,
a third of the way through this race, I should say.
Yeah, actually, more than a third. With,
10 minutes to go.
Not more than a third. Yeah, wow. This is this has quite literally flown by for a very legitimate reason.
It's very short. That would be why.
Yes, indeed. That is the legitimate reason I was referring to. But this battle for 3rd place still very much on. A Jackerman flashing his lights at Ben Dowell. They seem to be very fond of that. I think.
I love it. There's a lap car in the middle here too.
Throughout the field.
There's a lap car just ahead of Ben Dowell. Not quite sure who that is.
That's a series admin, mate. George Johnson.
Yeah, George will get out of the way. Saying that.
Oh, he's going to go too wide with Hyde.
Probably didn't realise that Hyde was in amongst that battle there and checked him up a little bit, but looks like they've all got through okay. Jay Boving, after he's got past Mark McDonald, he hasn't been able to break away.
Yeah, but McDonald just made a little bit of a mistake. Larnack has absolutely latched onto his rear bumper. Have a look here.
This pack of Boving, McDonald,
Oh,
Larnack
Johnson.
and Albin. Johnson's in the middle of it now.
Yeah,
Larnack's the one to watch here.
There's nothing worse than being a lapped car at Oran Park.
You try and get out of the way and you find yourself more in the way than if you're just... Oh, massive moment for Larnack.
Oh, big slide, and that is going to let his teammate through, Bo Albert. They're going to go too wide into turn
this is
one.
messy, boys.
No, Larnack yielded, so yeah, that was the smart thing to do.
9 minutes left on the clock now. Muggleton over Rougier, then Dow has Jackerman right on his tail. He's still there.
Yeah, this battle, you know, have a look at Hyde in the background there. A little bit of a tank slapper. He's got a bit of damage on his rear wing as well.
Possibly from the exit of the final corner. Guys can run a little bit wide there and clip the outside of the wall. We've seen it a lot in the past.
Hyde's really fallen back in this middle sector.
And of course, not long left in the race, so just seeing Darren Whittington off the track through the middle of the circuit. Have a look at Muggleton. He's actually lost ground to Justin Rougier, who is right there now as we're almost at halfway, starting lap 7.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Muggleton and Rougier up the front, really close together. Fantastic battle to see. Jackerman locking his brakes a little bit again in pursuit of Ben Dowell.
It's so hard to know who to watch in this race.
Yeah, there's
so much going
on.
It's great.
Yeah. Have a look down position 12, though. Alex Greenwood, Stuart Hall, Connor McCluskey-Young, and Griffin Gardner, all involved in a four-way battle. That's going to be Connor McCluskey-Young going on the inside of Hall.
He's got it done.
He's going to be stuck on the outside once again, and that's going to let Gardner through. Wow, awesome stuff happening in the midfield.
Ben Dowell, Luca Jackerman, well and truly on there. Have a look how close he is.
Yeah, that's crazy. But see,
Oh,
I can
big
see what
slide for
Jackerman
Dow.
is doing here. It's not a good idea to fire it up the inside of the last turn this long before the finish, because easily be gotten back at the end of the start-finish straight. Oh, huge lock up from the ERT car. Incredible stuff.
I think that's helped keep Hyde on the back of this packy, because he's definitely got damage to the rear of that car, but it's not hurting his lap pace that much. He was actually the fastest driver out on track last lap by.
Yeah, wow, incredible stuff there. While this battle for P12 is still very much going on, Plusky Young seems to be having a couple of problems with his car. Just running wide a little bit more than he'd probably like to. But still, he's very much in pursuit of Alex Greenwood. Griffin Gardner sitting behind him, thinking maybe I can get something out of this. All Bo Albert and Scott Larnack, meanwhile.
Jason Hyde and Jackerman side by side down the front straight.
Here we go. Here we go.
Big moment for Jackerman coming out of the final corner, and Hyde's got a great exit. And he might get this done.
Certainly has. Yep, I'm wondering. Oh, it's very close. Oh, they almost made contact there.
That was really close then.
Yeah.
Smart play to get out of it. Wait for the main event to put these big fights on. There's no point fighting for one position to end up losing everything in this race. We've got Greenwood now dropping back behind Griffin Gardner and Connor McCluskey-Young.
Sorry, they're side by side for 23rd and 22nd, I think.
Yep. Correct.
Oh. Sorry, Jay.
That's all right, mate.
Just scrolling through the field. Oh no, two cars side by side.
Gap at the front's now spread out to 0.7 of a second. So Muggleton now starting to pull a little bit of a gap. We've got 5 minutes to go. We've got about 5 laps of racing left in this race.
Yep, absolutely flying by this race. Yep, looks like the battles have calmed down somewhat throughout.
Well, for some of the field anyway. Daniel Stevens, David Coleman on screen at the moment. This is for 18th position.
Wow, fantastic stuff from these guys. It's so cool, like, in a series like this, being able to battle someone basically anywhere in the field. It's fantastic. What?
It's a big thing we've
Tiny bit of
seen
a gain.
throughout this series is there's always a battle somewhere for us to watch. I don't think we've had a lull in a race throughout the entire time we've broadcast this series.
Yeah, it's an
Oh,
absolutely
Rougier.
fantastic
Rougier's off the
series.
track. He's on his
Oh,
roof.
no. Oh, what?
No, there's another car on its roof. I think it's Steve
Oh.
Hoppett, but Rougier
Yeah,
was
that's
involved
Steve
in that.
Oh, goodness. Okay, I think that deserves a replay. Let's see what happened there. Looks like Hoppett was just trying... it's the old lapped car problem, Jay. Hoppett lifted off to let Muggleton by, but then Rougier took his normal line thinking that Hoppett would be out of the way, and he wasn't. Got rear-ended on his roof.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
the thing. If you're letting one car through, you've got to expect the other car behind to expect the exact same thing. It's the big thing about being a lap car. You need to be predictable. And that is the perfect example of what happens when you're not being predictable. So Griffin Gardner side by side with Connor McCluskey-Young into turn 3. McCluskey-Young gets through.
I was going to say predictability, but also awareness. Maybe Hoppett simply didn't know that Rougier was going to be there.
Yeah,
But either way,
yeah,
that's changed the complexion
it
of this
has.
race. But yeah, this battle for position 12 is incredible. Gardner just taking more of that curve. There we go, the over-under.
Good move.
Executed. Fantastic.
Here comes Stuart Hall as well now. He's right back onto the back of this train. Alex Greenwood, who was in this battle, he's dropped off well and truly now.
Jonathan Turner off the track there at the second last turn, just letting through all of those cars. So now Rougier all the way back to P11.
Yeah, that's hurt him big time. And obviously with the race, there's no points in this race, so it doesn't hurt him as much in that aspect championship-wise. But
McCluskey-Young. Major lock-up in turn 1, almost speared off the track before turn 2.
Daniel Stevens and David Coleman, that battle's still going on that we were watching before. It's now still for 18th, 19th. They're side by side coming under the bridge.
Oh, this is fantastic. Can Coleman hold it around the outside? He's going to have a good shot at it. Look at that. Look at the traction. That's fantastic.
Corey Ott now thinking about chucking it up the inside on Coleman, but decided against it at the last second.
Yeah, here we go. This is the perfect time to execute an over-under maneuver, but unfortunately, Coleman just doesn't quite have the track position to execute it. Oh, look at this. Stevens got a bit crossed up in the mid-corner. Oh, who's
Warwick
that?
Brown facing the wrong way. That's hurt Brown because he was up in about 14th or so. He's just in that, out of that battle. Oh, big run.
Stevens out of the final turn. What's happened to him?
Yeah, he's
a slowdown maybe.
Possibly through the dog leg there. Maybe a slowdown, I guess so.
Yeah, well, now it's Corey Ott versus David Coleman as Coleman's goes off.
Way too deep, runs wide off the track, and Corey Ott just gained 3 spots in no time.
Wow, he'll be absolutely cheering. Car number 09.
Muggleton round the final corner for the second last time. We've got 50 seconds left on the clock, so this will be the final lap now once he crosses the line to start the 14th.
Oh, Luca Jackerman. Sorry, Jay, but
right.
Jackerman just rubbed the wall out of the final turn. The battle between himself and Ben Dowell is still very much on, especially now that they're battling for second and not third.
We've seen those big lockups still into turn 2. Oh.
Wow, the hub.
I've lost my breath already, and we haven't even done the main event yet. We're nowhere near it. Well,
yes,
we actually are very near it. We're not far off it at all. Half an hour race coming up next.
Yeah, for sure. Bo Albert versus Mark McDonald is still on for 7th and 8th. Might see a change in that before the end.
Muggleton
Josh
around the
Muggleton-
final corner for the final time. Good English,
Certainly.
Jay. Good English. Across the line, picks up the win in part 1 of tonight's event. Dow, big drag race. Jackman over the start-finish line. Just holds
hold
on
them
by a
off.
10th.
Yep. It looks like the battle between Albert and McDonald is decided. Albert has won that with 7th place in the bag. Mark Dean is holding off Darren Marsh for 9th.
Yeah, so Darren Marsh will start this next race in 10th. Justin Rougier, unfortunately, will end up in 11th position. The rest of the field looks like it's all fairly settled now.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like, Corey Ott is... No, that's not Corey Ott, that's Steve Hoppett, sorry.
Yeah.
Corey Ott is... They got similar colour cars, I got them confused slightly.
Yeah, so Hoppett's ended up 3 laps down in the end, but I think everyone has crossed the line.
Yeah,
No,
that
not
seems...
quite.
Wayne Pendley, the last man, crossed the start-finish line in 28th position.
Yep, so we are all done. We'll run through the results. Muggleton picking up the win over Ben Dow. Luca Jackerman in 3rd. Jason Hyde, Jay Boving, Scott Larnack, Bo Albert, Mark McDonald, Mark Dean, and Darren Marsh, the top 10.
11th, Justin Rougier with Griffin Gardner, Connor McCluskey-Young, Alex Greenwood, Stuart Hall, Andrew Stokes, Corey Ott, Daniel Stevens, David Coleman, and Darren Whittington, 10th to 20th.
Yeah, next page we've got Mitchell Campbell, we've got Colin Bruns, Ben Piscaroni. Oh, I keep getting Ben's name wrong. Sorry, Ben.
Piscaneri.
Yep, there we go. Good job. George Johnson, Warwick Brown, Jonathan Turner, Steve Hoppett, Wayne Pendley, and Warren Pickering. For some reason I got a couple other names in there. Oh yeah, Fonty's name's in there, but he shouldn't be in there. He's race admin, so that's okay. I'll shut up now.
Warren Pickering didn't take the start either. Do I get a cookie for helping with your
Yeah,
pronunciation,
thank you.
Jake?
You can have a cookie from the cookie jar. They're
Hooray.
just behind in catering.
Ah, okay. Do you know where catering is?
No, I've never seen them.
Ah,
They're apparently here
okay.
somewhere, but anyway.
Oh, all right. Well, guess I'll have to ask around the office then.
We have an office.
What, really? I thought. Oh my goodness! This is what it's like behind the scenes.
Let's take a break, I think. Let's have a quick break. We'll regroup. We'll be back with the main event. We're about a couple of minutes away from bringing the main event to you. This is V8s Online's coverage of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Season 2, presented by Sim Racing Bay here on V8s Online. We'll be back soon.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it going to feel like? You know, it was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. You know, my thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshield's at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is gonna be so fun. And it's gonna be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is dirt racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system, developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the dirt revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Welcome back, one and all, to V8's Online's live broadcast of the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay. We're lining up for race 2 here at Oran Park. We just had a shootout qualifying session and a 15-minute race to set the grid, and now we're ready to go for 30 minutes around the old Oran Park Raceway that is no longer with us. For a 30-minute race with a rolling start. My name is Reese Gardner, and joining me in the commentary box is Jay Kennedy. Jay, welcome back. Obviously, you never really left. You're the director. But hey, we're ready to go Porsche racing again.
Yeah, can't wait to go Porsche racing. Hello, everybody. I've actually turned my mic on this time too, so we won't have any issues there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race. Half an hour. Rolling start as well, which will be a little bit different. I know a lot of these guys would never have done a rolling start. A few guys that would have done a couple and probably failed, and other guys that are fairly well experts at it as well. So it'll be really interesting to see how that all unfolds. But this race should be lots of fun. We saw heaps of action in the sprint before, so the main event should be an absolute belter.
It certainly should, and 30 minutes around Oran Park, a lap of about a minute 5 seconds or thereabouts in one of these Porsche Carrera Cup cars. It'll work out to about 29 laps in the race session. And of course, as we discussed in qualifying, a track like Oran Park, absolutely frenetic. Corner after corner after corner, every corner flowing into the next. And the only place you get a rest is on the start-finish straight, and even then, that's not for very long, and it's still quite bumpy. So you got to be on it all the time here. And
you only get a rest if you're not in a battle pack. If you've got someone right on your tail, you're looking in the mirror and you're holding your breath the whole time, watching them as well. So you're not necessarily having a break when you're on the only spot that you get a break. So an ultra fun track, and it's so sad that we no longer have this place. But glad that it lives on. The memory lives on here on iRacing, which is great. Glad they scanned it before it disappeared while they were over here in Australia back in, I think it was 2009, I'm pretty sure, when they scanned this track and also Phillip Island at the same time.
Yes, indeed. Of course, it wouldn't have been very helpful if they had scanned it after that date, because we'd just be racing around a housing estate.
I think one of the best comments I've seen, the only circuit to be a permanent track and a street course all in one.
Ah, well, that's certainly
well done.
Something.
Very, very true, technically.
Yeah. Oran Park, always making history. Either way, in the warm-up session right now, Scott Larnack is currently top of the timesheets. Only 4 drivers have set times, but still a 105.862. The Evolution Racing Team driver is nothing to sneeze at.
Interesting, the weather conditions slightly different in this one. The wind direction is very, very different, so that'll unsettle the car in a different way. Looks a bit brighter and a bit more sunny now too, so track will be definitely feeling different than it did for the earlier session. But as we said, half an hour of racing now.
Yeah, we're seeing a track temperature of 38 degrees Celsius in this session compared with 30 in the last one, so that's a pretty big jump. It'll definitely affect the feel of the cars.
And with not long to warm up as well, coming after the first session and into this one, so not a lot of time to get accustomed to it. The guys will have wanted to have done some testing. I understand the difference in the car between these two different temperatures.
Looks like Justin Ruggier just coming up to finish his first hot lap, putting a pass around Wayne Pendley, and huge slide. Fortunately, he's got a bit of tarmac there on the exit to save him. But that's a 106.753 from Justin, of course, with traffic.
Oh.
Whoa, who's that going off there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Pendley.
Jonathan Turner.
Pendley's off the track, Turner's off the track. Interesting that actually noticing the track at turn, or the final turn, there's a whole heap of dust that's picked up onto the track already. just in this 10-minute warm-up session. So be interesting to see how this all plays out. Because it obviously makes the track ultra slick. You can see Warren Brown on screen here. You'll notice that just there's a whole heap of dust, and you can see a very, very distinct line where the dust is, and Brown just gets off that line and all sorts of sideways. So it is going to affect the drivers.
Yeah, it certainly will. With only about a minute left in warm-up, tension will be rising.
Luca
Yes, we
Jackman's
got to
gone
remember.
first.
Yep, 105.4, very good lap time. Got to remember this. This is going to be a rolling start, as we have mentioned a few times now. So there isn't going to be as much of a tense weight on the grid as there was in the last race. The safety car will lead them around for a lap, and then Muggleton will basically decide when to go.
Big thing
So
that does, though, is it increases the speed into that turn 1 kink.
Does.
We haven't seen a lot of guys overly comfortable when they're coming up side by side through there. It's a very, very tough corner to get right when you're 1 by 1, but 2 by 2, it will be very, very tough, and I'm sure we will see some sort of weird accident in that spot. I don't want to say it, but I'm sure we will, sadly.
Well, we don't have to wait long to find out, because
For sure.
warm-up has just finished. Checkered flag is now out. So we tick over into the race session. Wait for the drivers to grid up behind the safety car.
Yep, we've got the starting grid up on screen. Muggleton obviously starting from first, Ben Dow second, Luca Jackman in third, Jason Hyde fourth, Jay Boving in fifth, Scott Larnack in sixth. Then we've got Albert, McDonald, Dean and Marsh rounding out the top 10.
And from 11th to 20th, it's Rougier, Gardner, McCluskey Young, Greenwood, Hall, Stokes, Ott, Stevens, Coleman and Whittington.
Yeah, you might as well keep going before I butcher names again.
Alrighty, Colin Bruns, Ben Piscianeri, George Johnson, Warwick Brown, Jonathan Turner, Steve Hoppett, and Wayne Pendley rounding out the grid. So,
That was much better, you doing that.
oh, thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. But it looks like, oh, okay, so they're not, they don't do a full lap. They actually grid up for the rolling start on the run up to the dog leg. That's nice. Gives us a little less time twiddling our thumbs as they tour around.
Good to see Bo Albert living up to expectations and giving us multiple headlight flashes, so thank you.
Indeed. Well,
If you're going to do
is
something,
now
you've got to
away.
do it all the time, don't you? If you're going to create your
Yes.
own little thing, you have to maintain it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
All right, here we
Must-
go.
Must be master of the meme as field forms up, ready to go. The green flag is out. And have a look at the jump that
Jason Hyde.
has. Fantastic stuff. Oh,
Same Jay Boving as well. We're four wide down the front straight. This
Oh,
is
no.
not going to be good. Oh,
Here we go.
Dale!
Oh, Ben Dow.
Ben
He's
Dow.
managed to keep it up. Oh, huge smash behind them. We've got cars on their roof. Oh, goodness. Oh, okay.
Griffin
I think
Gardner
this is-
facing the wrong way.
Oh,
Oh,
Scott
still
Larnack
another
involved in
crash.
that. Oh, huge smashes. Oh, that looks like Jonathan Turner turning around. George Johnson off. Oh, wow.
Mark McDonald's gone off at turn 3. We'll get a replay of what's gone on very,
Yeah.
very soon.
I get the feeling that this is one of those things that's going to require multiple replays. I'm wondering if there's going to be a safety car.
No safety car at this stage by the looks though. So the first part of the accident was Ben Dowell, who started in P2 on the outside as we jump. You see Jason Hyde come past. And I believe there was contact between those two.
Either way, a real shame. Multiple cars
Oh.
involved in that incident.
Maybe.
Drivers.
few cars ended up in the pits at the moment, so try and work out exactly what's going on. Jay Boving actually may have given
we've got
Bendel a little bit of a
another
tap.
battle happening. Jason Hyde, sorry, currently involved in more carnage field here. It looks like Darren Whittington just forced him wide a little bit as Whittington attempted to make a move on McCluskey Young. There's a bit of a train now forming. Oh no, David Coleman is off and he is almost in the wall, manages to avoid it, re-enters the track behind Corey Ott and Colin Bruns. Oh no, there's a TTL
Ben
car
Dowell.
off. That's Dowell again. So Dowell's had an absolutely horror start to this race. Whittington and Hyde going side by side at the last turn again.
Right, we're back live now. Bo Albert, Jay Boving side by side.
Oh, yes, indeed.
There we go. Got pictures again now. We can see what's going on. We're back live.
Yeah. Yep, fantastic. So an awful lot has happened in the space of
2 laps.
Of 2 laps. Yeah, Connor McCluskey Young, one of the big winners out of that. He's from 13th up to 5th. Darren Whittington from 20th up to 7th.
Yeah, Justin Rougier dropped back as low as 16th. He's made his way back up to 11th now as he's just passed David Coleman. Scott Larnack, who was on his roof, is still going in 13th position. I don't know how, but he's still pushing on. That car
Got a
looks
fairly
absolutely
hard lid on
destroyed
those
though.
Porsches. Wow.
It does not look healthy, but it's still going.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's all you can really ask for, and still in the midfield, so he can make up some positions from here.
For sure. But Justin Rougier is probably going to be one to watch as he makes his way through the field. Muggleton leads Jacobin 0.8 of a second at the line. Then you've got Bo Albert and Jay Boving 3rd and 4th. Then Connor McCluskey Young in 5th. Jason Hyde, good recovery after being off the track at turn 1. The outside of turn 1, he ran off into the dirt. Still going, which is good. We've got Colin Bruns side by side down the front straight.
Yeah, oh no.
David Coleman.
Corey Ott's off at turn 1, Jay.
Just saw that.
Yeah, Bruns just hit the wall out of the last turn, and he makes a little bit of contact with Larnack, gets unsettled.
And Ott's right in the middle of it now.
Yep, oh, here we go. Bruns is going to try and come back on Larnack through here, but I think Larnack's going to have the traction. He's going to get past, no problem.
Justin Rougier now up to P9.
Mark McDonald, a botched overtake there, putting him in strife.
Yeah, Daniel Stevens up the inside. Oh, tough spot to pass.
Yeah.
Gonna get it done.
It's a fairly wide piece of racetrack, but there's really only one line through there, so it's really difficult to get a couple of cars. Oh, goodness.
Gee, I thought McDonald was going to turn him there. He was up so deep.
Man. McDonald is very confident on the brakes, I'm noticing.
Yeah, it's good to be confident, but you've got to make sure you do it at the right spot. We're only 5 minutes into a 30-minute race.
Oh, wow. And
there's still a long way to go.
Every second car I look at has damage. That's crazy. Connor McCluskey Young off at 1, so his 5th place will now be assumed by, I think, Jason Hyde.
Yep, he's dropped back to 8th, and he's got Justin Rougier right on his tail, so we'll stay with these two for a little bit, because this will be a fun battle. McCluskey Young's done a great job making his name in this community. He's done a very, very good job. Very, very skilled driver. And a driver that is very, very accomplished right behind him. This will be a good test for McCluskey Young here.
It certainly will. Of course, McCluskey Young are part of the Progression Racing Australia team, which has really come onto the scene in the last 6 months or so and made a good name for themselves.
Just ahead, there's a very, very good battle as well. We've got Darren Whittington, Stuart Hall as well. Whittington, as you said, started way back in the 20s. Rougier and McCluskey Young are side by side there in the front straight here, though. Rougier's on the outside. He's got him, cleared. So Rougier now up to 8th.
Oh, things have calmed down just a little bit. Look at Darren Whittington just absolutely pitching the car into the corners. Running what looks to be a DJR Team Penske replica scheme.
Yeah, cool little livery, that one. I like the replica liveries. We've got a couple because we've got a Mobile One HSV racing team one as well out there.
Very nice.
I think that's Griffin Gardner driving that one. Yep.
Have a look for Stuart Hall
Here he
though
comes.
on Darren Whittington. Yeah, just a little the tiniest hints of a draft. And it's so tempting to try and send one up the inside out of the kink into turn 2, but it often doesn't end well. Whittington just a tiny bit of a slide.
Whittington's going to have a really tough time of it very, very soon. And just seeing Daniel Stevens drop through the timesheets. He's off the track at turn 2. Whittington's going to have Hall, who's very, very accomplished, and Rougier, a fantastic driver, right on his tail now as well. So this will be tough.
Rougier really playing around with the limits of that curb. A couple of corners back. We'll see what happens as they come through the dog leg and down to the end of their lap 7. We've got 2 cars lined up ahead of him. We'll see what he can do to try and get past them.
Muggleton's
Get the
broke
feeling
out.
these guys aren't going to make it easy for Rougier.
No, not at all. Muggleton's out to 1.3 seconds over Jackman now, so starting to pull away. But Rougier is definitely going to be the one to watch as he makes his way through the field. See how far up he can get. 9 minutes gone, or 8.5 minutes gone in this race. It's Rougier up the inside. Move done on Stuart Hall. No real fight there. Sometimes it's better just to give it up and let the faster car through, and you can learn some things from them.
Yeah, possibly follow them through if there's an incident ahead.
Exactly. Maybe able to get past Whittington if Rougier can get past him at the right spot. If he can tuck up on his tail, Rougier gets through, he can follow him through and get the spot anyway.
Yep, certainly. Well, Whittington over those curbs looking slightly more unsettled than Rougier, and have a look through the dog leg. Oh, right
Oh,
off
big
is
moment.
Whittington, and that's going to let Rougier right through.
And have a look at that, Stuart Hall almost close enough to get through. If he was tucked up on Rougier's tail a little bit more, he would have been able to get that move done. But now,
He
Whittington's
certainly
right on Rougier's tail, and he's going to think about making it. No, he backs out of it. Good idea. Rougier
both
was going
of
to be
them.
ultra committed there. There was no way that Rougier, he's made a big
No,
mistake, big
there we
lock up.
go. He's going to have to start all over again.
He's got McCluskey rung right on his tail.
Yeah. I think... Oh, have a look at McCluskey Young on the brakes. He wants to have a go. It looks like Rougier's going to have the traction, so... Alright, take 2. Marker and action.
Predicting 28 laps for this race this time around. The predictometer.
Ben Dowell and George Johnson for position 16, meanwhile, back in the field.
Yeah, Ben, of course, involved in that issue lap 1, and then he also had another off, I think it was lap 3, so trying to work his way back through. Darren Marsh has found his way into the pits as well earlier in the race, and he's now in 21st position, trying to come back through. And Scott Larnack, unfortunately, is out of the race. Oh, gap at the front's closed up, I've just noticed.
Oh, it certainly has. Luca Giacomin now within a second of Josh Muggleton. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, it's down to 6 tenths, 5 tenths of a second now. So, last lap by Muggleton with a 106.5 and Giacomin with a 106.1.
Looks like Muggleton ran wide at a couple of corners on that last lap.
Saying that, the gap's still closing. It's down to 4
Yeah, it
tenths.
certainly is. Yeah. Giacomin absolutely on fire right now. Got to be careful with that exit wall, though.
Have a look just ahead, though, just to mix things up a little bit. Traffic.
Yes, indeed.
Here we go. This is going to make it nice and fun. We've got 2 cars off. Ben Dowell, we were watching that just before. Ben Dowell and George Johnson. They've both ended up off the track. We'll try and pick up a replay on what happened.
Yeah, it looks like it was rear end contact. It seems George looks like Dowell's line was compromised on the entry into the right hander, just a narrower line. Johnson carrying more speed, just tagged the back of him, and that was that done.
Yeah, he's checked up and redressed it. So Dow's now gone back through on Johnson. They did lose a couple of spots though while that was all happening. And just on cue as well, Rougier's just got back past Stuart Hall. So he's now back up to 7th position. But we'll stay with the battle, Muggleton to Jacobin. This has got really, really juicy.
It certainly has. I hope that it can get really close as the laps wear on. Who is that in front of them? That is Ben Pistioneri. Darren Marsh just got by him on the last lap.
Yep, so we've still got 21 cars on the lead lap at the moment. And a few battles going on. We've got Rougier and Whittington as well. Rougier in the draft, down the front straight. He's going to try and chuck it up the inside. And he does. Good move.
Blowing it up.
Oh.
Let's have a look at what Whittington can do, though. A little bit of an over-under.
Thought Stuart Hall was going to run it up and follow Rougier there. And Whittington, contact.
No, Whittington.
Big lock-up.
Huge kick out under brakes.
Yep, big
Massive.
lock-up. And that's
Oh,
painful, and it may have a little bit of damage there for Rougier. I'll try and pick up a replay.
yeah,
Slightly
tell you what,
different angle.
It was lucky for Rougier not to get completely taken off as a result of that, but it was still a fair whack.
And he's hit his wheel too, as opposed to his door. If he's hit his door, it probably wouldn't have been too bad, but he hit him right square in the front wheel. So hopefully there's no damage for Rougier. And Whittington now has David Coleman and Corey Ott right on his tail. Whittington now back to 9th position.
Well, still, it's a major improvement on his starting position at 20th.
If you told him at the start of the race, you're going to be battling in the top 10 for the whole race, starting 20th, you'd take that every single day of the week.
Yeah, you certainly would, but, you know, I guess that's the nature of
just off the track,
this
just ahead,
format.
Connor McCluskey-Young. So this is going to be a 5-car train now.
Oh, no. Oh, he's come out right in the middle of it all.
So Whittington
Just
now
into Coleman.
Whittington in 8th, McCluskey-Young 9th, Coleman 10th, Ott 11th, and McDonald's in this now too, 12th. We've got 5 cars separated by just on a second.
Oh, this is great. I love this. McDonald was flashing his lights, getting past Ott here.
Oh, side by side's messy here.
Yeah, but they've managed to do it.
Yeah, good move from McDonald. So that puts him up to P11.
Now it's going to be mostly single file through here unless one of them makes a little bit of a mistake, and it looks like Darren Whittington's done that. He's run wide. He's going to let, at the very least, McCluskey-Young through.
Yeah,
Can
Coleman's
Coleman
right on
have
his
a
tail.
shot?
Yeah, I thought Coleman might have tried to throw it up there, but he
Look,
didn't.
McDonald up the inside of Coleman at the last turn.
Big lunge, and he's got it done.
Wow, this is awesome racing.
Watch for Corey Ott here, because Ott had the most natural line there, so he should have got the best exit. But flash of the lights down the front straight, but he's not going to be able to do it. Halfway point in this race now, 15 minutes gone.
How
did Ott hold that? He had 2 wheels in the dirt under brakes. Great job.
Crazy stuff from Ott, and Mark McDonald was unsettled a little bit by Coleman in turn 2, so they're still very much battling. Looks like Whittington and McCluskey-Young have gapped these three a tiny bit.
Only a tiny bit, though.
Yeah.
Corey Ott trying. He's going to try and set something up here. He's not quite close enough to do it, though. You can see from the different line that he ran through the first part of that corner there that he was trying to set something up. See if McDonald's... No, he's not going to be able to do a move, throw a move together there now. And Ott, 2 wheels on the dirt once again to try and get a run.
Yeah, well, he had a good look up the inside of Coleman. Flashing his lights. There we go.
Love it. I love it. 1 second now, the gap at the front. Muggleton over Jackerman. So he's managed to maintain that gap now, back out to that second. And a little bit of a little bit offline there was Coleman. And have a look at McDonald right on the tail of Whittington.
Yeah, this is looking really good. Aaron Whittington, oh, just going a little bit wider. Looks like McDonald had a little more traction out of the left-hander.
It's a great battle going on here.
Yeah, fantastic. It's now, what is this? There's McCluskey Young up front, and then he's got two two-car battles behind him. But looks like these guys are closing back up to Connor once again.
Yeah, well, Connor will be down on front straight line speed too, because that rear wing is absolutely... It looks like a crinkle cut chip, actually, the way it looks there. Is that a good description? Something a bit different?
Yeah, certainly.
I thought it was good.
Yep. What flavour?
Probably salt and vinegar, I guess.
Ugh, no. Bad.
What do we want? Barbecue?
No. Original salted or bust.
Oof. No. Reese.
Have a look at this battle.
Live a little.
I tried. It didn't work.
Oh, yeah, Mark McDonald, he's got a great run, but he's not going to be able to use it at all.
Oh, have a look there.
Oh.
Whittington. Huge mid-corner lunge, but it looks like McDonald's going to have the inside for this turn. Whittington, the inside.
And watch out for Coleman.
Yeah. They all managed to hook up the apex.
Great battle, guys. They're doing a fantastic job, and no contact between them at all, too, which is great.
Touch wood.
Oh,
touch wood.
Right on cue. Whittington, 2 wheels off the track. Through the dog leg, and McDonald now. Big flash of the headlights. He wants to get through here.
Flashing lights in tandem.
Through this fast section of track. Big lockup once again for McCluskey Young. He's off the track.
Yeah, and Ott has done it too, and he's sideways. But in the midst of that, he's going to get past McCluskey.
Oh!
Almost. Oh, dear.
They're going to go side by side in this next section.
Boy. Both recovering from spins at turn 1.
Both big lockups as well.
Oh, boy.
And they've come back together. Again, no contact. Good job, boys.
Yeah, fantastic. It's amazing that these guys are still managing to keep it all together in spite of everything that's happened in these last laps.
Now,
Mark McDonald,
I'm
though.
fairly sure just before when I looked at the timing, Mark McDonald was in 15th. He's now in 8th.
Oh.
Good job.
Wow, that's pretty good.
He's passed all of these cars in the last 4 laps, and I'm fairly sure he's passed a couple others. Rougier's now up to 6th, by the way.
All right, Rougier making his way past Stuart Hall. His next target would be Jason Hyde, but he's 10 seconds up the road from him or thereabouts, so I doubt he'll be able to catch him before the end.
Yeah, it's a bit too much, I think, but you never know in these things. You just absolutely never know. Big lock-up for David Coleman, and Mark McDonald's made a mistake. Side by side now with Whittington.
Yeah, and Whittington once again on the headlight flash button. A little bit of a reminder, everybody watching at the moment, to check out our website, v8online.com. And also, we have live timing available, so if you want to check out the movements and the shakements throughout the field...
Shakements? I like it.
Yes. Yep, new word, done. Oxford Dictionary, picture of me next to it. But if you want to have a look at live timing, just go to v8online.com/live-timing. And you'll be taken to a live timing screen where you can see everything that we'll be able to see out on track in number form. So, yeah, be sure to check that out.
It even has a track map as well if you're wanting to see how, or remember how cool the layout used to be here at Oran Park.
Yep, certainly. Whittington ran wide in the last turn there, so Coleman didn't actually make much ground on him, though.
No, not a huge amount, but McCluskey Young still has Corey up right on his tail. We've seen a couple of mistakes for both of these guys, so it'll be interesting to see if they can both apply pressure to each other. Coleman thought about making a move up the inside on Whittington.
Ott versus McCluskey Young is still very much on, though. Have a look at them.
Yeah, great battle these guys are having. This battle's fairly much the whole way through the field, or around about a second or so gaps, but these two battles that we've been watching are by far the closest battles on track McDonald's checked out from these guys as well at the front of this little battle.
Indeed, let's Lusky Young doing the old late apex trick, and wow, just grazing the outside wall. Oh, just
almost
avoiding
clipped that pit wall.
Ease, Corey.
Oh, big dive.
Dear.
He's pulled it
Once
up
again.
too.
Wow. Okay.
How did he pull that
that's
up?
That's got to be the most efficient way to take that corner by far. That's just... How did he manage to do that? I don't even know.
I don't know how he pulled that up, but great job from him. I'm surprised that he's still going. I thought he should have been in the fence then.
Incredible.
He's still going on. So Ott is 12th at the moment. McCluskey Young just ahead in 11th. Mark McDonald, we said he was at the front of this train, but he's now already checked out to a 2-second gap from him back to Whittington. And Coleman is starting to drop off from Whittington as well. So Coleman's now consolidated his top 10 at the moment in 9th.
Yes, indeed. Well, oh, little bit of tank slapper from Ott on the exit of the last turn. Still, this is the closest on-track battle.
Yeah, 1.4 seconds the gap at the front now. So Muggleton starting to pull away. Oh, Ott, once again. He's pulling away 10th by 10th around the track. And saying that, it's just dropped to 10th right on cue. Oh, Whittington sideways. Contact between Whittington and Coleman. And McCluskey Young's got past. And now we've got a 4-car battle once again. Here we go. Bring it on, boys.
And Whittington get up the inside. McCluskey Young, he slides. He's round.
And there was no contact there at all too. It was just pressure. He just wanted to make sure he got ahead of those other 2 cars, and around he went. He's got Ben Dowell just comes through. Coleman and Ott is still on though. McCluskey Young's pulled away.
Darren Whittington though.
That's really unfortunate for him. He'd been doing such a good job. 2 little mistakes.
Up and down.
Yeah, 2 little mistakes has cost him big time, unfortunately. But Corey Ott, try and watch him, see if he can come back through. McCluskey Young was the big winner out of that. He got through past all of them and gained a gap on Ott. And Ott will be wanting to chase down McCluskey Young because they were very, very well matched on pace.
Yeah, they certainly were. That battle until that whole palaver happened at around this point last lap. That was definitely one of the battles that basically filled with suspense. You didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Get a replay of what exactly happened. So on screen here's Whittington. May have rewound just a little bit too fast, so my apologies. Only a little bit though. So this is where the incidents happened here. It's the same as what we saw when he had that issue with Rougier. A little bit too deep, locked it, got it sideways, and then contact. And then we'll see that incident in the second part of that bit here over the bridge. And around she goes, just trying to run a different line, probably a line that he hasn't run for this entire race or at all in practice. And that can catch a lot of drivers out when they're forced to drive on a different part of track that they're not used to.
Yeah, especially around a track like this, which, is the amount of camber changes as you go up the hill and over the rise. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yep. It's nowhere near as uniform as you usually see a racetrack, so it can catch out a driver a fair bit.
Noticing a battle starting to build between Colin Bruns and George Johnson. We'll keep one eye on that because the timing is starting to close between those guys, but McCluskey Young and Coleman is still the closest battle on track at the moment. Corey Ott trying to hang with them. He's actually dropping.
Yeah, I've noticed the gap between all 3 of them was pretty much even throughout the first part of this lap as we see McCluskey Young going wide. Big
lock up.
Ooh. That's the thing though, if you can really recover from a slide or a lock up like that just by getting on the throttle a little earlier in these cars. get the weight on the rear, launch out of the corner, and away you go. Still, have a look at Coleman. He's getting right up to the rear bumper of Coleman. I mean, of McCluskey Young.
Oh, Ben Dow's just had an off at turn 2. He was starting to close up on Corey Ott. And he's now been passed by Whittington and Greenwood, who are starting to battle. So Ben Dow's had a very, very unfortunate race this entire this entire night. And the gap at the front has closed once more. Now down to 7/10 once again.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's looking even closer now visually. I'm seeing as Muggleton flashing his lights to. This just in front of them is the battle between Johnson and Bruns.
Yep.
So
this is
this
for
could
position.
really, yeah. Oh my goodness. This could really throw spanners into the mix. Muggleton goes past Johnson. Jackaman will now pass Johnson here, but he'll be stuck on the outside. Oh.
We saw once before that end up painful passing at that spot, and that's hurt Jackaman. He's lost about 4 or 5 tenths of a second in passing the lap car. And he's down the front straight. I think we've got 3 laps to go in this race, 2 minutes and 15 on the clock. So it'll be 3 laps.
Well then, that's it's just this race has been absolutely scintillating so far as we see Johnson going off at turn 2.
Stay
These
with the
gaps
leaders because this is closed again.
Yeah, it certainly has. Stevens and Marsh, meanwhile, are going fairly hard. They're side by side. Darren Marsh lunging around the outside.
Yeah, 18th and 19th position these guys are fighting for. So Stevens goes. Oh, I thought there was going to be contact there, but there was none, which is good.
Okay. All good.
Get your breath again.
Yes. Just remember to breathe.
So gap at the front, 1.1 seconds now. This potentially will be the last lap, maybe 2 to go. We'll wait for confirmation when we cross the line. I think it may be 2 to go. 1 minute 10 on the clock when they cross the line. So I'm going to say 2 to go. Timing's saying 1 to go, but I'm going to say 2.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Crossing the line with about 5 seconds left on the clock.
Either way, it's been an awesome race that hasn't let up throughout some points in the track. Oh, Ben Dow and Darren Whittington side by side. And Dow gets through on Whittington. Oh, Whittington again through the same section again. Almost looped around. Here comes Greenwood.
Yeah, have a look at Dow just struggling a little bit with that car. Yes. Working the wheel like a madman.
Oh, he was sideways the whole way under braking there.
Oh, man.
Gap at the front now, 8 tenths of a second. Wonder if Muggleton might try and check up a little bit to make this the final lap. So we've got 14 seconds on the clock now. There will be one more, I'm very sure. They will get the white flag this time.
Yeah, definitely.
With 2 seconds on the clock. They now cross the line, 0 laps to go. So final lap.
So the next bit of lap traffic up ahead of these guys is the battle between Griffin Gardner and Wayne Pendley. Griffin is a lap down on Pendley, so it's not full position.
Have a look how close Jackaman is now. You can visually see this gap closing. It's down to just under half a second.
Oh, this is juicy.
And this is the most pressure that Muggleton's had put on him this entire championship so far.
Yeah, absolutely crazy racing we've had at Oran Park, and yeah, no one has been this close to Muggleton for this entire season, which is fantastic to see at this midpoint in the championship.
He's had teammates right behind him at about this gap, but usually he's been checking up a little bit to try and keep it this close, but for the first time this season, Muggleton's had a bit of pressure. He's pushed through it, and through the final corner for the final time, he will pick up the win to win the main event here at Oran Park.
Yep, really good racing there between the top two. Bo Albert is going to come out of the final corner to take 3rd place. Another fantastic drive from him, up to 3rd from 7th. Brilliant drive.
Still on between McCluskey Young, Coleman and Ott. which is good to see. They've still been going at it for this entire race.
Yep, still has yet to be decided. And another battle that is still very much raging on is the Whittington-Greenwood battle
Yep.
for 12th place.
Have a look at how much Ben Dow's gone away from them since he got past only a lap ago.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. So close between McCluskey, Coleman, and Ott at the line, but it
Ott
looks like
clipped
that's
the
the
wall.
way they're going to
Yep.
finish. Oh.
Ott clipped the wall, so that was pretty much all over. Through the final corner, big dive from Greenwood. Not able to get it done, though.
Looks like Whittington is going to hold him off for 13th place. It could have been an 8th, maybe even a 7th for Whittington, but nonetheless, 7 positions up from a 20th place start. You got to be happy with that.
And lots of TV time as well, so that is officially race done. Josh Muggleton picks up the win and is doing some nice donuts on the front straight. So well done to Muggo on a fantastic drive tonight. It's been thoroughly entertaining. Loved it.
Yep, absolutely fantastic racing here at Oran Park, and you know, this the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship has been turning it up since round 1. Fantastic racing all throughout the field, and yeah, this round has been no different.
For sure, it's been absolutely fantastic. We'll run through the results, and hopefully we'll get a couple of drivers in for a bit of a chat. But Josh Muggleton led from start to finish, led every lap of the race. Josh Muggleton winning by just under a second from Luca Jackaman. Then we got Bo Albert in 3rd, Jay Boving in 4th position, Jason Hyde 5th. Justin Rougier made his way back up to 6th after that unfortunate issue in the race 1 and also the bad start. Stuart Hall in 7th, Mark McDonald in 8th, Connor McCluskey Young held on for 9th with David Coleman in 10th.
11th was Corey Ott, with Ben Dowell finishing in 12th place from a 2nd place start. Real shame for him. Up to 13th from 20th, Darren Whittington, with Alex Greenwood coming behind in 14th. 15th, Wayne Pendley. Colin Bruns in 16th, with George Johnson, Darren Marsh, Daniel Stevens, and Ben Piscineri rounding out the top 20.
Yeah, then rounding out the field, we've got Griffin Gardner, Jonathan Turner, Andrew Stokes, Scott Larnack, Mark Dean, Warwick Brown, and Steve Hoppett. All of those drivers DNF'd, I'm fairly sure. But either way, what an event we've had tonight. Fantastic night of racing. As I said, hopefully we'll get a couple of drivers in for a chat very soon. I think we've got Muggo waiting to come down for a chat.
Yep, Muggo's just sitting up there. Also, Mark McDonald waiting for a bit of a chat as well.
We'll bring Muggo straight in for a chat. Hello, Muggo. Congratulations, mate. First time you've had a little bit of pressure on you, though.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, probably out of all the wins this season, that's the one I'm most happy with, because I didn't have much preparation, and well, no preparation until the 60-minute practice session. So yeah, I was made to work for it tonight, and yeah, luckily came away with a couple of wins.
Good to finally have someone pressure you other than a teammate tonight.
Yeah, that was a bit different. Yeah, I've had some good battles with Jared through these Porsche races, and I know how he races. So haven't raced Luca all that often. So yeah, I was just keeping an eye on my mirror with him. But I know he's a good steerer through GT Academy. And first race it was awesome until that lap car and got in the way. It was like the good old days of V8s with Justin.
Did bring back some memories there.
Yeah.
Yeah, not wrong. It was pretty cool. I think I was more disappointed than he was when he got taken out.
Well, that's another win in the bag, Muggo. So your championship lead will be extended once again. Looks like for the next round in the championship, we're going to Imola, and we're going to be back to the regular 45-minute format. So, yeah, I don't think you could get a circuit that's more different to Oran Park in the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Completely different. Obviously, that one's a lot quicker, and this one's very bumpy and very tight. So, yeah, another rejig with the setup for next week. I haven't done many laps at Imola at all, so I'll have to pull my finger out this week and get something sorted early on.
Well, congratulations, mate. We'll no doubt see you on track next week for the Porsche Super Cup as part of the Premier Series, and then in 2 weeks' time for this series.
Yep, looking forward to it. Thanks, boys. Thanks for It's Online, and thanks to Harrop, HRS, and Fuel Auto Tech.
Thanks,
Brilliant
mate.
stuff. Josh Muggleton there, your round winner, holding off a charging Luca Giacomin. I think the next person to speak to would have to be Bo Albert, coming home in third place. Bo, up to third from seventh. That was a bit of a crazy start, wasn't it?
Crazy would be quite the understatement. We sort of all went into turn one, and out of nowhere, it was a bit of a fireworks show. There were cars going everywhere. I think someone was on their lid at one point. Very crazy, and it's unfortunate to be in this position because of that crash. But when you get a podium, you're not going to complain about it, are you?
Oh, I don't know what it's like to get a podium, so I wouldn't know. So, yeah, well done, mate. And by the way, thank you for flashing your lights. We did say that we'd expect you to flash your lights, and you did. So you did say on Thursday night that you would. So well done.
Yeah, of course. I gave them a good old polish just before the race, so hope
Oh.
you got it in all that beautiful HD quality.
I did, but there's a few guys starting to copy out there, mate. So I think you might have to say to a few guys to ease off the headlights at the start.
Yeah, no, it's not too nice. They're trying to steal my crown, but I don't know. What do you think? Maybe get some neons happening on the car, or what do you think's next?
I think
Hit up a macro.
I think you're bright enough with those blue mirrors, but pretty good race you had. You had a little bit of a fight there with Jay Boving, but you managed to pull away from him fairly well in the end.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. I think both of us picked up a little bit of damage from that opening lap shenanigans, but from there it was just kind of keep my head down and try not to make any mistakes, because the laps I missed the apex by about half a meter, he would take a tenth or 2/10 out of me. So it was quite a stressful race, just trying not to make any mistakes, and somehow in the end managed to pull it off. But big effort from Jay Boving behind, and definitely made me work for it tonight.
All right, well, Bo, very good result here at Oran Park in this second race, and next round of the championship at Imola. Are you a fan?
I am absolutely a fan. It's one of my favourite tracks. Probably second favourite track, just second to the Nordschleife, but looking forward to it. But as we saw in today's race, I've got plenty of guys in front of me who are a little bit quicker, so going to need to do plenty of work to stay with those guys, but looking forward to it.
Well done, mate.
Bo.
We'll see you on track in 2 weeks, but and we'll obviously talk to you on Thursday night.
Yep, sounds good, guys. Just before I leave, I'd like to give a nice shout out to Logitech G, Joel Real Timing, and GTI for all their beautiful support of the team. And also a big shout out as well to my teammate Luca Giacomin on second tonight. He put in a massive amount of effort into that one, so it's beautiful to see the hard work pay off.
Fantastic stuff, Bo. We'll catch you at Imola.
Cheers, guys.
Next up on the interview roster, Mark McDonald. Well, Mark, that we followed your progress throughout this event, and you were involved in quite a few battles throughout the course of this race.
Oh man, hey, good morning from Chicago. That was a crazy race for me. Tons of fun, but super stressful. Man, you can be a second quick of someone here trying to make your way back through the field, and it still takes 10 laps to try to pass somebody just to get the opportunity. It's a real roller coaster, and I had a couple of passes. I'll just take you through the race. Good start. Miracle that I didn't get caught in all of the crashing that happened at the very first left kink there and into the first corner. And then I came out of the hairpin, and I was like, oh yeah, Bo's going slow, I'm going to dive inside. And man, he must have just been like, okay, go ahead and spin. And I sure as heck did. So sorry to him for such a late move. It's good that he left the door open and was just like, you're never going to make this corner, buddy. But recovered from that in like 16th place, and then just was working my way up through the field. And man, a lot of those guys, are really good, really fast guys, and they're fighting for every inch there. And it's just such a roller coaster of a track. It's really hard to come back through. So tons of fun. Thanks to V8 Supercars Online for hosting everything with the broadcast, and thanks to George and the rest of the guys that are organizing it, and Sim Racing Bay, of course, for sponsoring it. So I'm really excited for the next round.
Yeah, speaking of the next round, we are going to Italy, Imola. Of course, I've been mentioning to other drivers in the interview booth. It's basically the polar opposite of Oran Park. It's nice and open. It's got super smooth surface, these big curbs, chicanes in the form of kinks going this way, that, and the other. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? You think the racing will be just as exciting there?
Oh yeah, for sure. Imola is. You're absolutely right. I mean, Oran Park is bumpy and old, and it's a real like kind of bull ring of a tiny little track. And Imola is like nice and big and smooth and open. But then there's those ridiculous curbs that you have to watch out for, and it's great for racing in the Porsches because you can go into a corner really late and it'll compromise your exit, but you can make a pass. So it encourages guys to, dive in at the first corner, dive in at the last two corners there, and into some of the chicanes. And it gets really good side by side racing, and it's super smooth on the asphalt. And then you touch one of those curbs and you're just up in the air on two wheels. It's gonna be a blast.
Well, hopefully we can see you there, Mark, and wow. Hopefully you get just as much airtime and some intense battles as you did at this round.
Well, I appreciate it, and I actually have to say this format was really awesome too. Just having the two different races was really cool. I probably do better in the other format, so I'm looking forward to getting back to kind of the regular, just single 45-minute race. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Fantastic. We'll see you at Imola, Mark. So, Mark McDonald there, and I think the next person we'll have a chat to is Justin Arrugia. Justin, I think it was a round full of what might have beens for you. Some unfortunate incidents, but you still managed to push your way up to a sixth place finish in race two.
Yeah, g'day guys. Firstly, congrats to George and all you guys. Bloody awesome event. Really enjoyed doing it. But like you said, it's unfortunate. First race got taken out when I was battling with Mugger, and the second one, yeah, had heaps of speed, and again, bit of a crash got involved in on the first lap. But apart from that, car was mega.
Well, Justin, I suppose Oran Park obviously turned it up as usual, and obviously you sound like you had a ton of fun, but yeah, obviously a couple of things happened that didn't exactly go your way. Of course, some major contact happening with a couple of cars, and then that start in in race two.
Yeah, I don't know. Some guys are a bit overexcited, I think, on the first lap. You can't win it, obviously, but yeah, it was looking at my lap times after the race compared to Muggo and Luco at the front there was a little bit faster the last sort of 8 laps, I think it was, so would have been nice to be up there. But anyway, again, really appreciate it. Good to be around, and thanks heaps for the event. Always good fun.
Brilliant stuff, Justin. Well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time at Imola.
See you guys. Cheers again.
Justin Arrugia there, sixth place finisher in race two. And the final guy we're going to talk to tonight is our series admin and 17th place finisher in race two, George Johnson. Well, George, that event certainly turned it up.
Hey Reese, great to be with you. Man, that was a great event, and many thanks to V8s Online for the great work that you do broadcasting the event. I really want to give credit to the drivers. Thanks to all the drivers that came out, and they deserve credit because this racetrack is not an easy track to stay on, and we do have a disqualification limit, and I'm happy to report that everybody made it through without being disqualified for too many incidents. So good news there.
It was a pretty awesome night of racing. I think thumbs up from us for the format. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it was probably the most enjoyable night format-wise we've seen for a long time. So well done on that.
That's good. Thanks very much. It was a little bit confusion with some of the drivers, a little rocky start, but I think the time that you probably got to devote to at least the top 10 drivers while they were on track by themselves doing their lap. I think that should have been good for viewers.
Alrighty, well, yeah, certainly a fantastic event for sure here at Oran Park. But next round of the championship at Imola, we're going back to the regular 45-minute race format. That considering the gap between the last couple of rounds, it's actually been quite some time since we've seen a 45-minute race format. So, at Imola, of course. A track that, super high speed, lots of heavy braking zones. As I've said a couple of times tonight, the complete polar opposite of Oran Park. I suppose looking forward, how do you think that's going to go?
Oh yeah, this series definitely mixes it up. But Imola is a pretty famous track. I think the drivers are going to do pretty well there. Maybe more of a split, more of a gap between the fastest and the slowest drivers on that track.
Certainly. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get as much of a fantastic event as we have tonight at Oran Park. Thank you very much for joining us, George. Thank you very much for your hosting and your running of the series. And I guess we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Sounds great. And I know you've already mentioned them before, but let me thank our sponsor, Sim Racing Bay. Thanks very much, guys.
Brilliant stuff. George Johnson there, series administrator and competitor here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship. Well, Jay, I think that brings our broadcast to a wrap. It was an absolutely fantastic event for sure.
Yeah, it was lots of fun tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fantastic with the battles that we had the entire way throughout the field. And yeah, hopefully we see some great battling again throughout all our racing this week. We've got another big week of broadcasts once again. We've got Monday night V8 Supercars, Wednesday Formula Renault, Thursday IMSA, and next weekend we have the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series and the Porsche Super Cup Series back once again. So another fun week of broadcast, Reese.
Yeah, certainly. And we also got to mention we've had a really big announcement made in the last couple of days. Aussie Driver Search has come on as the main sponsor of our Monday night V8 Supercar broadcast. So absolutely fantastic sponsorship there from those guys at Aussie Driver Search, of course, holding the search for a new racing driver to enter the Australian motorsport community with a full drive in the Toyota 86 Racing Series next year to be won at the conclusion of that competition. So be sure to check them out and be sure to watch the Monday night V8 Supercar Series tomorrow night to see some absolutely fantastic online racing from some of the best sim racers in Australia. So that brings our broadcast to a wrap. Thank you very much for joining me, Jay, and I guess...
pleasure,
the big pack of broadcasting for the next week or so, and I suppose we've all got to work cut out for us here at V8's Online, but we wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
Nah, love it. We do it because we enjoy it, and we get thoroughly entertained watching the racing ourselves. So, and we usually think that our enjoyment comes across in the broadcast as well. So, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yep, thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at V8's Online, subscribe to us on YouTube to be notified of any future broadcasts, and we will see you very, very soon. You've been watching the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship presented by Sim Racing Bay on V8's Online. We'll see you next time.